Hi boys and girls, if you want to see Daddy posting this video, get online and see his video. Bye bye boys and girls.
Keegan, I might put that in. I might have to put that in, sweetheart. That was great. Welcome in to a very special episode of Blatherskite, where we're finally gonna get into the meat and potatoes of what we're all about, and that is football, specifically NFL football. Professionals taking the field inside the white lines, right on the gridiron. Let's be honest here. It's the number one sport in America for a reason, and you can talk to me about a ratings dip over the past few seasons, but I don't really want to hear it. Better yet, shoot into my DMs. And we can talk about this personally, and we can go tit for tat about the ratings for the NFL. I love that. Anyways, we're going to break it down starting now with your top 5 most underrated New Orleans Saints of all time. And this is going to be a good one. The criteria is pretty easy. Either they weren't nationally recognized enough, or I don't feel like Saints fans give them enough credit, or we don't talk about them enough. It's plain and simple. So let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about my honorable mention. The one guy that did not make the list, and that's offensive guard Jari Evans. We always talk about the tackles. We never talk about the guards and how important they are or how dominant he is. He did just miss the list because I do feel like he got the recognition. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time All-Pro, and he made the 2010 All-Decades teams. So I do feel like he was recognized. I just don't feel like we as Saints fans talk about him enough. We want to talk about Armstead, or we love to talk about Bushrod, especially Ramczyk right now because this guy. I mean, are you kidding me? Ramczyk? Well, we'll get to him later. We'll get to him another day. He's dominant. But we just next time we talk about offensive linemen, let's talk about Jari Evans, because the man deserves it. Starting out our list at number 5 is none other than LSU great Devery Henderson.
You got Marcus Colston going. You got a free shot here. And down the sideline. Caught by Henderson, and he is into the end.
I don't want to hear about the drops earlier in his career when he had Aaron Brooks throwing to him. Devery didn't know if he was throwing it forwards or backwards. Okay, this man had a 17.9 yards per catch average throughout his career. He led the NFL in said stat category on 2 separate occasions. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody talk about how great of a blocker he really was. That gets just swept under the rug. Like I can't believe it. He made big time catches in big time games. The guy had some godforsaken speed. He was a speed demon. And he did so well for us. Instrumental in the rebuilding of this franchise whenever Breeze came in. You know, once he didn't have Aaron Brooks throwing to him, do you see what happened? Do you see what happened? I don't know how many times he burned the Dallas defense. Probably a lot, though. Put him on the list. Dropping in at number 4 is none other than Roman Harper.
4th and goal from the 3. Ryan to the end zone, deflected and picked off by Roman Harper.
We're going to excuse the fact that he played for Alabama because this guy did a lot for the Saints. And one thing that gets thrown out all the time, and this is why he's made the list, is all anybody ever wants to talk about is the man's gray hair or the time he got smoked by Sam Bradford. But other than that, this guy is 5th in career pass deflections for the New Orleans Saints. He's got 17 career sacks, which is first among DBs. First among all defensive backs that have played for us. He's 4th in team history for solo and assisted tackles. And I want to just throw that out there. That's linebackers included, people. 4th all time when putting on the black and gold. And this is a long list. You're going to see me look down at some notes right now because this man leads all defensive backs in forced fumbles, sacks, tackles, tackle for loss, and quarterback hits. He's also got a Super Bowl ring. I didn't mention it in the last little cut, but Devery Henderson also has one too. He has one as well. Each of them have one more Super Bowl than any Atlanta Falcon player in the history of the Atlanta Falcons. Roman Harper. Put him on the list. Sammy Knight. Drops in at number 3. This was a great safety on some bad teams right up until Hasler got there in 2001. And he comes in, he's third most interceptions all time in Saints history. He's got the most defensive touchdowns in franchise history. Didn't know that, did you? Didn't know that, did you? This man hits like a truck. I can tell you that. I don't know personally, but if he were to hit me as hard as he could have in his prime, there's a good chance that I might be dead. So that tells you that. 7th in team history in solo tackles, and this is the biggest thing. I would have put him on the list had he not done this, but I'm really appreciative that he did. Is the man had 2 interceptions on Kurt Warner against the greatest show on turf and the Saints' first ever playoff win in team history. 2 massive turnovers in a game that we almost blew, but thank goodness for Hakeem dropping the ball. Now coming in at the second most underrated Saint of all time is none other than Reggie Bush. And for those of you, especially you Saints fans, that want to call this man a bust, catch me outside. Catch me outside. Okay? This man had 243 touches his rookie year, and every season after that, he had less and less touches until he left us for Miami, where he got all the touches. He ran over 1,000 yards, blah, blah, blah. Okay? The rest is history. So, Reggie Bush was a great Saint. Okay? He was explosive with the punt returns. In our Super Bowl year, he had 5.6 yards per carry. Let that sink in. A big reason why I think he got the less carries is because Pierre Thomas came in. What? Pierre Thomas? Yes, I think that's when the two-headed monster that Sean Payton brings to the table, that's when it really began, and it still exists today. As you see Kamara, even though he gets a ton of touches, he doesn't just run the ball. We divide and conquer, people. Divide and conquer. I use it all the time when I talk about my kids. Divide and conquer. Okay, 217 all-purpose yards against the Arizona Cardinals.
By rookie Greg Toller. Here's Bush on 1st and 10 from the Cardinals 46. He stays on his feet. Spectacular run by Bush. And Reggie Bush takes it all the way for another Saints.
Are you kidding me? You saw the footage. He made every Arizona Cardinal miss twice. He had the punt return for a touchdown. That was Reggie's game. And I'm not even going to get into the whole like he's as much of a decoy. We all know that. Like him just being on the field, you got to respect the speed. But he was much more than that. Let's go, Reggie. I love you, bro. Give him his Heisman back. And number 1 on the list should be no surprise. Marcus Colston, baby, out of Hofstra.
And then split at the bottom of the screen. Breeze looked that way, comes back to the middle. Colston got it in the air. Marcus Colston, touchdown.
Hands, check. Route running, check. Character, check. 6 1,000-yard seasons. I don't even think the man has a Pro Bowl. Right? I think we talk about him enough, but he's number 1 on the list because he never got the national recognition. This guy had sure hands. He ran the best routes. He was such a positive in the locker room, the relationship with him and Breeze. The one thing I didn't look up was the touchdowns and the yards from a quarterback to receiver specifically, but they're right up there with Montana, Rice, probably Culpepper and Moss are in there. Oh, definitely Manning and Harrison, Manning and Wayne. That's Breeze and Colston are there too. And 2 of probably the least physically gifted people that could play the game of football. And they're up there with those other greats, man. That's what it is to be a Saint, bro. He holds the records for yards, catches, and touchdowns in franchise history. I do understand that Michael Thomas is outstanding. And he's definitely more physically gifted than Colston was. But, Michael Thomas still has to do it. I fully expect him to do it. But as of right now, this is all Marcus's. Let's go, Marquise. That's pretty much going to wrap things up for this edition of Blatherskite. Except I didn't talk Blatherskite today. I talked the real facts. And as you notice, I'm wearing the gold jerseys. Bring them back. Bring them back. Our record in the gold jerseys is 0-1. Schedule Tampa Bay with these bad boys on. We'll go 1-1. I see you, Brady. I see you, Brady. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Get at us at Boot Crew Media. Get at me at TheMikeBadger on Twitter and Instagram. I'm getting pretty good at this stuff. Bam, bam, bam. Get at us. Comment, like, share, do what you want. Tell your friends about us, right? We appreciate the views. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate it all. I cannot tell you guys, in all seriousness, how much I've appreciated all the positivity. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to keep on bringing you guys NFL stuff, not just Saints. But we're going to bring you some NFL news, some lists, some season predictions. So stay tuned. Don't forget about us. You guys have a good one.